Hey, what's up, Dean? Sear Performance. Compressor's running, sorry. But I didn't get a chance to make a video last night because Jeff forced me to work really, really late. Um, but that is the LS260 with the oil pan and the whole front diff assembly thingamabobber. Still on it. Motor mounts are there. It's out. It's sitting above Sean's car. Then we got the Bobby Boucher 2J2, basically another Mustang that he painted the same color, just a newer year, more of the, I think the SN95 look is what they call it. But I have no idea anything about this. It's probably a billet motor, knowing Bobby. But we're gonna do a ton of work to this. We're relocating the turbo, intercooler piping's getting some cool clamps. Then I got drive shaft material, exhaust material for a downpipe. I got all kinds of cool stuff coming for this. Well, not cool stuff, kind of the same stuff that we always do, but we are absolutely slap packed. I've never actually had a car under a car on my lift till now, but we're slap full. But I got the 6.0 out last night late, absolutely poured transmission fluid out of the FTI converter because we're switching the converter over to a different converter, and it kind of flopped in the frame and poured everywhere. So I got the cam gear off, intakes off. What's left, which you can see, this thing is puking oil from everywhere. I believe the lifter valley is blown out. This is like the DOD. You can see up in there, you can see all the DOD towers. I believe that the gasket's just messed up, or the O-rings are just weak, and it was puking oil. No exhaust leaks, but you can see all the oil everywhere. Everywhere, Jeffrey, everywhere. And it wasn't the oil pressure sensor. You can see that tower is clean, and I took it out. It's clean. I did a rear main seal on it, which you can see down in there. It's clean. Wasn't the rear main seal leaking. So yeah, Jeff, not the rear main seal. But yeah, she is dirty, and this is a funky pan. But I didn't go crazy. I actually started unbolting this strut, then realized if I just unbolt the lower control arms, I can swing them out. So I unbolted the lower control arm, the tie rod, and sway bar, and it swings out far enough that you can knock the knuckle out of the differential. So that's what I did on both sides. So both axles are still in there. I didn't take apart all the suspension and do all that craziness, so I shouldn't need to do an alignment on it when I put it back together, which I don't really see how you do an alignment on this thing, because everything just bolts in place. There's no like concentric washers or anything like that, so I'm not really sure how you do an alignment on this, but it should just bolt back together, be good to go. Like I said, I got to get the oil pan off. I got to clean it. I have no idea how the hell. You maybe can sneak up in there to get the oil pan bolts out, which is what I'm going to try to do. But as you can see, I have no room. No room to freaking do anything. And today is kind of a half day. I got to run the kids over to their grandmother's, so I'm getting ready to leave. So tomorrow I plan to pull Bobby's car back, pull Sean's car back. I got to clean the hood off Sean's car now that Jeff's pile of crap puked all over it. Pile of crap, Jeff. So I'll get all that done. I got to blow Bobby's car off. He was like freaking out. A bunch of fiberglass dust from the guys next door. He didn't freak out, but it just, Bobby's car is really nice. He just got fresh paint put on it, so I'm gonna blow that off, get all that crap out of there, and then yeah, gonna get the motor down, get the rest of the parts on his new motor, and see if I can get it kind of hung in there. If I can't get it in, I want to try and get the motor in tomorrow, but if I'm going to run out of time, I don't want to stay all night, and I don't care what you say, Jeff, I'm not staying all night. But if I can get the motor in tomorrow, bolted in place, bolted to the, mated to the transmission, not necessarily bolted to the transmission, then I can put the truck back up in the air and kind of call it a day, and then I can come in Monday, get all the rest of the parts put on it, and get the new motor ready to be fired up. That's kind of my goal. Worst case, I can get it close to in tomorrow, or at least get all the components on this motor tomorrow, because I still got to get the push rods out of that motor, flex plate off, motor mounts off, oil pan off. So I might only just get all this back together tomorrow and ready to go in the truck. I do need to get a new water pump because one of the thermostat housing bolts were cross-threaded, so he owes me like $700 for a water pump now. But yeah, and then I gotta get the front cover cleaned up, new gasket in it, because we have to reuse that on this motor. So there's a bit of work to do. So I'll probably have it in and all together, depending on the water pump, by Monday. But I could have everything bolted to the motor, the headers, all back on. I could have it 100% ready to go, actually fired up. Just have to get the water pump. So I'll talk to him right now, yell at him. I'll have to yell at him. It's the only way he understands me. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at. I got all this stuff for Bobby's car. We got a 4-inch stainless V-band, 3-inch stainless V-bands, more of those fancy aluminum quick couplers. I got to get one more in 4-inch if I can get it here quick. And then I got a 3 to 4-inch stainless reducer. So let's see, easiest way to do this. Got a Yeti, he don't get the Yeti. That's exhaust stuff, that's intercooler stuff, which you got 1, 2, 3 3-inch ones, and then the 4-inch one. He was thinking coupler, but we could do the coupler, because it would be a 4 to 3 reducer. I believe that's what he has on there. Yeah, it's got a 4 to 3 coupler. Fancy. Purple blow-off valve. Ain't that fancy. This is his existing downpipe. So my plan is to get rid of the... Well, no. The plan is not to get rid of the heat wrap because it's not going to work. What the hell is going on? But anyways, yeah, there's a bunch of stuff in there. I don't know what's in there. Oh, biggest thing, the rear sump oil pan. He got a rear sump oil pan, and the reason he got a rear sump oil pan is because this motor is a front sump oil pan. I don't know nothing about these motors, but I'm learning. So you see the sump is in the front. The motor actually sits on the rack and pinion, but if you look at the angle of the motor, the car's fairly level. The angle of the motor's dipped way down. So we were going to try to get the front of the motor down a little bit more. And he thinks we can do that with the oil pan. I don't know. I haven't started to measure. I haven't looked at measuring anything. Hopefully we could do it with the oil pan. Worst case scenario, I guess what they do is they space the K-member off the unibody, which by looking at the bolts would be tricky to say, because I'd have to get all new bolts, which that's not a big deal, but I just have to get longer bolts to do a 1/2-inch spacer or something. So kind of trying to avoid doing that, but yeah, I mean, look at all the room. So much room for activities. Like, you can get every bell housing bolt on this thing. I hate 2Js even more now. But yeah, anyways, rambling on. Blah blah blah. I mean, just look at this fancy guy. Pro Mod dipstick. Pro Mod dipstick. What's that dipstick for, Bobby? That's transmission. What's that one for? Oil? Holy smokes. Look at this fancy guy. There's the dipstick tube. Goes down to the pan. Comes all the way up. Comes to here. Convenience of owning a Pro Mod, apparently, with one bolt in it, of course. Goons. But yeah, no. It's a cool car. Just, I'm not... 2Js are not my life. They have a place in the world. Not in my world. And here it sits. But anyways, no, I'm just kidding. I love Bobby. Bobby's good. So yeah, so we're gonna knock Jeff's truck out, knock out Bobby's car, finish the cage for Sean. He's planning the trip in March. Got you. I got the big hoopty whip. I got the pump in that today, this morning actually, and drove it. That's good. There's that hoopty whip. And I did learn, I personally would never do an Edelbrock standalone. They're very limited. They're very, very basic. It works good, but you have to use every single part from Edelbrock. Basically, you got to use their injectors. So you're very limited on, like, if you want to do 210-pound injectors, you can't. I think the biggest injector that you could put in that is like an 80-something pound injector from Edelbrock. I don't remember exactly what the guy said. I just found it very weird that it's only Bluetooth through the phone or the tablet that I think they give you. There's no way to hook to a cable and have like a PC software like the Holly software. So you're very limited on what you can do with it. So for me, my advice would be never to buy an Edelbrock unless you are just doing a very basic and you're doing a bunch of their other products and you get some kind of deal on it. Other than that, you know, I wouldn't do it. But anyways, blah blah. I appreciate you watching. Like, subscribe, hit the bell to be notified. I'll be back. I'll make another update video tomorrow. But appreciate you watching. Have a good day.